everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing a tutorial on how to make this door Halloween tag, and I'm gonna actually walk you through step by step and talk through all the supplies you need. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's talk about supplies first, and I have pretty much all the same stuff to recreate this exactly, so that's awesome. And I can just show you each item. So first of all, the doors. These I got from a Heidi Swap Halloween kit or Halloween collection last year for 2022. So it came in like this, a 12 by 12 size paper with the doors laid out on the paper. I believe these are still available in her shop, but if not, you could do the same thing using any kind of paper that has doors on it, or even just like a wood grain, I think would be fine. I think that would be really cute, like maybe a washed out wood grain like that, and you can even cut your own window panes in there. So as you can see, I've already cut this out because I started with this one as my actual door, but then I messed up on the stamping. So you can see I stamped on the wrong side. So I do have this one extra, and I'm just gonna use that one as part of this tutorial. So I have that cut out. So step one, cut out your doors. And then I did use an Exacto knife to cut out the window panes. So these were filled in with, I think, like a green background. I think something like that. So Heidi Swap Halloween Collection 2022, or just some kind of cardstock paper that has a wood grain on it, or doors if you can find that. Then I also use this orange buffalo plaid paper. This is from the Simple Stories Simple Vintage 31, I believe is what it's called. Let me check. Oh, Simple Vintage October 31st. And it is by Simple Stories. Yeah, Simple Stories. I also used this alpha stamp. This is from Paper Person Shop, and it's called Day by Day Alpha. I don't know if she has this available in her shop anymore, but if not, you can really use any alpha that you want. I also used this acetate from Heidi Swap. This is also from her Halloween 2022 lineup. I think this was an add-on, separate from the kit. I also printed out my Halloween tag, and so I just went into Photoshop and created this tag. So I will leave one below that you can use. It's a 3x4 size, so if you want to just take it and print it out in 3x4, you could just use it and slip it into a pocket if you wanted to do that. But I printed it out on 4x6 paper, index paper, because I wanted to have the writing on there. So I didn't want to do it, I didn't want to have us fill it out online. I wanted to actually circle that and see the writing and the circling. So I decided I would print it out, have us fill it out, and then I would scan it. So that's what I did. I printed it out on 4x6. I filled out one, gave one to my husband, and then I took both of these and I scanned them into my Photos app. And I use an app called Scannable, which will allow you to scan images and then save them to your photos. And then after I did that, I took them into Photoshop, the scanned images, and I put them on, I made sure they were a 3x4 size here. So I think they printed out slightly larger when I did them on the 4x6, but I printed them out 3x4, and this is actually on sticker paper. So this is printable sticker paper. So I have them printed out here, and I did one on one half, one on the other half. And so you'll see how I use this in just a minute. Other things that you're gonna need are a scoring board. It's not absolutely necessary. If you don't have one of these, you can just fold the paper, but I like a crisp line, so I like to use a scoring board with a bone folder. I also used this attacher die. This is from Studio Calico, and LA Studio also has one that's similar if you can't find this one on Studio Calico. I will try to link all these products down below, or if I can't find the exact product, something similar. So I use that to make the attachers on the door. So these right here. Also, you're going to need some baker's twine or some way to, or string or ribbon to tie the door closed. So I've been using this orange, black, and white baker's twine. I believe I just picked this up on Amazon. You will need glue or a sewing machine. If you don't want to use a sewing machine or don't have access to one, you can just use double-sided tape instead. I use this to help position the attachers on. Let's see, you'll need a hole punch to punch the holes for the door here. Some eyelets to go through the holes that you punch in the door. Also, I used a lock and key on mine, but you can really embellish it however you want. So I used a lock and key. These are from Tim Holtz. He usually comes out with a new version of this every single year. So I think these are from last year, but you can get this from, he is selling it this year for his 2023 Halloween collection, but it comes with like an iron gate, and then there's just one lock and key, and I think there's a little chain as well. So I think that should be still available. You'll also need some kind of jump ring to attach that if you're going to use that. So I usually have, oh, I have more eyelets. Let's see. I think, where did I put it? Oh, I must have grabbed the wrong thing. But I have an extra one of these that I use. They usually come in different sizes. So I have one that I used. Actually, I pulled it off of the metal ring tag. So I have a lot of these. These are really cheap. You can get them on Amazon. So I had a lot of these extra rings because I took them off for all of my numbers in my album. So I had that. And then I used Tim Holtz rub-ons. This is an old one, but really any kind of decoration or embellishment that you want to add. And then I think the last thing is the little spider, if you want to do that. I got this from Tim Holtz last year, but he is selling them again this year. I think they're combined with some other items as well, but he does come out with some form of a little spider, ornament spider that you can get. So you can, if you have one in your stash, you could just use that. And I believe that is everything as far as supplies. So let's go ahead and get started on making this. So like I said, first thing you want to do is cut out your doors. So I selected ones where the doorknob was on opposite sides so that when I put them back to back, the doorknobs are on the same side. So because you're going to put it in your album and then flip it like that, and you want it to open on the correct side. So just something to think about when you're selecting which doors you want to use. So let me go ahead and trim this one out. I don't have enough space for all my stuff. Okay, so this is 8 inches long. And let's see, how wide is it? It's about 4 inches wide. So 8 by 4. Okay, so the next thing that you want to do is stamp on the back of your door. You could also do the scoring now just so you are aware of the spacing. So I did do, I think it was probably a 1/2 inch. Yeah, a 1/2 inch. So score on the 1/2 inch line on the side that's opposite of the doorknob. So let me go ahead and do that first. And yeah, I'm in frame. Okay. I like to give it a nice crisp edge like that. So then when you turn it over, you can see where that is going to be, so you don't have that space once you have this attached. So now those will be on the same side when you go to attach. So now I can go ahead and do my stamping on here. I'm gonna just leave this one and you know, pretend that it's fine, but I will stamp on this one. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do in our construction is cut this down to the right size. So I believe what I did was made sure that it fit this way. And it's the same height, so all I had to do was trim off the edge here. So let's go ahead and do that. And just double check that it's 4. Yeah. Okay, so now we are ready to, almost ready to assemble. The one thing that we still need is our attachers. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut those out from here. Okay, so now I'm just gonna put those aside. I have these, you can score them, or it's just as easy to just fold them in half like that. My fingers are totally dirty because I didn't clean off my stamps. And this one just has the little, there we go. Okay. Also, before I assemble, one thing I have left to do is put the tags onto the acetate. So I'm going to cut these down and we'll be right back. I know I want Kevin's tag here, and then I want put my tag on the other side. I would recommend actually leaving this a little bit wider. It's easier because now I have to get it exactly right, and I forgot about that. Now we're ready to assemble everything. Make sure you put the right person's tag with their name if you're doing that. Okay, so the attachers, I will put them on here first and just glue them on a little bit. But what I do is take whatever ring album you're using and make sure that they line up. So you can see right there, it's hard for me to see while I'm filming, but basically right there, and then that would go in there. And then double check that when you have this on, you can't see it. So that's exactly where I want it. So I'm gonna do this. Oops. Okay, make sure this is lined up. That looks right. Okay. And again, just double check. Okay, so it should be fine also on this side. Yeah, okay. So then, okay, and then let's do the same thing on the bottom. Okay, so back to having that lined up. You might want to paper clip that. So that it stays right where you want it. Again, I cannot see this on camera. Okay, there you go. Make sure that lines to the edge. Oops. You want this on the edge, you want that on the edge. And then we can flip it over, glue it down. Okay, now we're ready to attach everything. So you can sew it, or if you don't have a sewing machine or don't want to sew it, you can use some adhesive here. I would use red line tape, so it's double-sided tape, and glue it on there, and then flip this over and glue this one on this side. Since I'm going to be sewing them all together, I'm going to clip this together and run it through my sewing machine. Stitch right along there. And now it's together. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is let's work on the doorknobs. So I'm gonna punch holes, and I punched them right through where the doorknob is. And then I did the same thing on this side. Now, these are not aligned. So you can see they're like off a little bit, but that doesn't bother me. I was fine with that. But if it does bother you, you might want to choose doors that align, or just punch through them at the same time and just pick one of them to use. So then let's go ahead and set our eyelets. There we go. Okay, that one's good. The one on mine is not so great. Actually, let me try it a little bit more. There we go. Okay. So that part's done. Now the next thing that you want to do is your closure. So if you have ribbon or you want to use baker's twine, I basically just picked some and then cut it, and then did the same thing for the other side. Okay, so then you want to attach it. Again, you can glue it down or you can sew it down. So I'm gonna sew it down. And I was using a zigzag stitch and just going over the same place over and over again. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I can cut off these strings, or you can leave them on if you want it to look messy, which I do like that. And then let's cut off these ones too. Okay. And then thread that through here, and thread that one through here. And now you have your attacher. Okay, so let's work on these, on the jump ring. So I'm just going to take this, take it off. I will use that later. This is what I used for up here, but I put just some paper over it and stamped on top. But you can decorate it however you would like. Feed that through, feed this through, and then I just fed them through the eyelet. There we go. Of course, my eyelet is a little bit messed up, but that's okay. All right, come on, get in there. Hopefully I'm in frame. There we go. Okay, so now that's attached. And the last thing that we want to do is put the little spider on. So what I did for that was I just used some extra thread from my sewing machine because the little hole is super small. So I couldn't put any like twine or anything on there, or just some thread. And then I just went back and forth again with a zigzag stitch, same as what I did here, and attach that on. So I will do that and be right back. Okay, he's a little bit hanging low, I think, maybe not. Oh, I pulled him up. Okay, so that was one thing I was going to mention, is make sure that you place him in the spot that will make sense with the window frame that you're using. And you see how it moves up and down? I'm going to actually put some glue on there just so that it will stay and not move around. And the other thing is, when you're sewing it, make sure you don't have this side down, right? You want to only sew on this part. Also, I'm going to put some Fray Check on the ends of these so they don't fray anymore. So I'm just going to grab a spare piece of paper. I'm going to make a nice cut with my sewing scissors. A nice clean line there. Okay, and then I'm also going to do this guy. Okay, and this is what I'm using. It's called Fray Check. I always try to use that on the baker's twine. And then I'm just going to let it dry, and then I'm done. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Thanks.